Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. Tonight we discuss the future of Ae Dil Hai Mushkil. The film is scheduled to release on Friday, but will it? Some theatre owners have said they will not show it, and the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena has threatened violence. In response, Karan has forced to issue a statement proclaiming his patriotism and beseeching his critics to let the film be shown. The truth of the matter, however, is that in a democracy, a film cleared by the censor board has every right to be shown, and the behavior of theatre owners or the MNS is not just questionable, many would say it's reprehensible. In the name of a mistaken patriotism, they're diminishing democracy and demeaning India. But will they listen to reason? My guests are the president of the Cinema Owners and Exhibitors Association, Nitin Jantar, the well-known actress Renuka Shahane, the managing partner of Council India, Sohail Seth, and MNS spokesperson Shalini Thakare. Shalini Thakare, Ae Dil Hai Mushkil has been cleared by the censor board for release. After that, what right do you have to demand that cinema halls don't show the film and to threaten them if they do? In a democracy, that's unacceptable bullying. In fact, it's actually downright thuggery.
Karan, I think here we are preferring to be in under the belief that everything is very normal. While our people, our army is fighting on the border, our Jawans are getting shaheed, we would still like to believe, no, everything is fine, cultural ties, everything, we should continue normally. I think when we are talking about political isolation, we are talking about resource isolation, cultural isolation is what works the fastest, and that is what Maharashtra Navnirman Sena is trying to do. It is no longer just the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, it is also the mood of the people which we are trying to represent.
So I'll say, let me put it like this. In all societies, there are times when a country is identified as an enemy and sentiment turns against that country's people. For example, during World War I, the British royal family were forced to change their German surname. In World War II, the Duke of Windsor, who used to be king, wasn't permitted to return to his country because he was thought to be too close to Hitler and the Germans. After Uri and Pathankot, would you say that India is facing a similar moment vis-a-vis Pakistan?
Here,
that's to Sohail Seth. That is to Sohail Seth. That is to Sohail Seth.
I would also like
Sohail Seth.
Okay, Karan, three very quick points. Number one, Miss Thakare is absolutely right to hold a belief that she and her party people share, but she can't, or neither can her party, subvert the law. The law very clearly, as you articulated earlier, says if a film has been approved by the censor board, it needs to be shown. But this bullying will work. That is the birthmark of the MNS. That is the birthmark, sadly, of some political parties which can't win elections. They don't win votes, but they attack people, innocent citizens, innocent cinema hall owners, because that is their way to be on national television like this evening. So the tragedy is that there is subversion of the actual belief. Look at the paradox, Karan. You have a Bharatiya Sena which protects people, which protects the Indian, which guards our borders, which sacrifices lives, and then you have another kind of Sena in Bombay, which is a political party, which goes out and beats up people who they don't agree with. So I completely align myself with only one thing that Ms. Thakare has said. You're absolutely entitled to your belief. You're absolutely entitled to the philosophy that you believe in, but for God's sake, you cannot take the law in your hands.
Okay.
You are not a court of law. You are not the justice system. You are not the police. What you're doing is you're threatening people, and bullying is the best epitome of cowardice. So for God's sake, grow up. It's because of this perversion of tactical behavior that you lose votes, ma'am. I have no political alignment, so please don't think I'm speaking for any one of these people. In my book, they're all the same. But I'm saying, what is the point of attacking a cinema hall owner?
Nitin Jantar, let me bring you in, because it's not just the MNS. Your organization has decided it will not screen Ae Dil Hai Mushkil in its cinema halls. Now, you're doing that because you want to target Pakistan. Presumably, you want to show some sense of anger against Fawaz Khan. But Fawaz Khan has been paid and gone home. The people who are going to lose by your action are the producers of the film Karan and the 300 Indians who worked for him. So your anger may be against Pakistan, but you're punishing Indians, your own countrymen, your own kith and kin. Does that make sense to anyone?
No, I don't think so, because we have taken this decision. It's not my individual decision. The decision has been taken by our executive committee, which was called urgently, and looking, as you said, looking into the sentiments and hate and anger against the Uri attack, and our army getting martyred. And the other thing was the artist, he may have taken the money, but he did not say or utter a single word against the terrorist people. And neither the Karan Johar, I don't know whether he has uttered anything against the terrorism or against
Why does he need to?
terrorism.
Why does he need to?
So that was the one.
Who are you to set standards that people have to follow? Who are you to say that Karan Johar hasn't said anything against terrorists, therefore his film won't be shown? Where does that line of judgment, morality and logic come from?
I tell you, it is your view and it is my view. You should respect our views also.
Oh, I do. I'm questioning your view.
That
it's
we
because I
respect
it.
Our views are not important.
Oh, they are very important. That's
our views are not important. Is the exhibitors? The exhibitors doesn't have a choice to select a film, what to release or not to release, whether to release Marathi film, Tamil film, Telugu film, or any film, looking at the circumstances.
Let me bring in Renuka Shahane there.
At the present circumstances.
Renuka Shahane, what you're hearing, both from Shalini Thakare and from Nitin Datar, are an argument that hinge on two pillars. Nitin Datar says that the mood of the country does not permit the showing of this film. They also say that whilst the army is being martyred, how can we be showing films here? Not a single army soldier or officer, serving or retired, has ever once asked for Pakistani actors and technicians not to appear in films or for films with them to be banned. Not one. This is a claim being made on their behalf by these two people. Secondly, they claim the mood of the country says it can't be shown. Do you accept that's the mood of the country? Or are they manufacturing and concocting it? Renuka Shahane, go ahead.
You know, Karan, for me, categorically, for the longest time, I have not wanted any contact, whether it's art, whether it's sports, whether it's literature, whether it's business with Pakistan. Because 2008 happened and I knew that Pakistan is going to do this again and again and again. And there's a feeling of terrible helplessness in the citizens because we are not at the border, but there are people who are losing their lives, our Jawans are losing their lives practically every day. And so there is a sense of helplessness in us. But you know what, I don't think that it is the correct way to go about it by threatening people if they are doing something legal. For me, the correct way would be to have a national policy about this. If the government has a policy which stops all sorts of transactions of business, art, commerce, everything, then I will stand with it, and I still do. I didn't see Kapoor and Sons, which had Fawad Khan.
Okay.
I did not see Khoobsurat, that had Fawad Khan. 2008 had already happened.
All right, I take your point. In other words, if you're going to take action, it must be taken across the board. Don't single out the film industry on its own. And the action must be decided by the government, not by anyone else. Shalini Thakare, let me pick up on that thought. There's a very basic point I want to put to you. In a democracy, and remember, India claims to be the world's biggest, in a democracy, people have the right to decide what they will see or what they won't. That is a democratic right given to every adult. Who is the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena to decide what they'll see? You don't have a single MP in Parliament. You have one MLA in the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. How dare you, therefore, try and impose your values and your thinking on the people of India?
Today, if I have a government which is functioning, which is talking about surgical strikes at the center, which is trying to tell the BRICS members to declare motherhood of terrorism for Pakistan, and still I have a state government which is absolutely silent, not ready to take a stand on anything. I think it's been too long that we have been tolerant about all these issues. We are just waiting, taking out a hand of friendship from one side. There is no reciprocal happening all these years from the other side. But no, we have to be very tolerant. We have to be not taking a stand.
Forgive
me. I think today the people's sentiment says
you're basing your argument on what the central government is doing. How do you respond to the fact that the Prime Minister, uninvited, at his own initiative, went to wish Nawaz Sharif on Christmas Day in Lahore a very happy birthday? He did it without being invited. He went there on his own and he got applauded for it. I take it now you're criticizing him as well.
But it is the same Prime Minister. It is the same Prime. I am not criticizing him. I am saying that this is the same Prime Minister who has done the surgical attacks, and I congratulate him for him. But what is the state government doing for this? There is a center government which is taking action. What is the state government? What is, as Renuka ji said, where is the stand of the state government? Why is state government not taking any kind of an initiative? When we are talking about...
You've made your point. Let me bring in someone else. You're a very forceful lady with a loud voice, but it's time someone else came in. So he'll say, what you're hearing is that this is being done by both Mr. Dattar and Mr. Hane on the grounds of patriotism. But what I suspect they're actually doing is to reveal behind that thin argument something rather sad about us as a society and as people. They claim that we are broad-minded, tolerant and all-embracing, but their actions show us up to be intolerant, narrow and exclusive. They're actually shaming us, not standing up for us.
So, I detest Pakistan. I detest what it stands for. I detest what it has done. I detest the way it has refused the consistent hands of friendship we've put forward. But I'm a citizen of India. I'm governed by a constitution. The constitution is upheld by the law. The law is represented by the judiciary, not by Mrs. Thackeray, not by Mr. Dattar. So I have a very simple logical thing. Don't mix the metaphors. Yes, we are all angry about Pakistan. Not one Indian who is a true Indian is not upset about what Pakistan has done. Park that aside, because that is a serious issue which is not going to go away. But are you going to take the law in your own hands? If the state government of Maharashtra is not acting as per MNS's philosophy, is MNS going to start beating up people? Are they going to vandalize theatre halls as they've said today on television? Is this the kind of political party we want in our country? Do we want to elect people who are nothing but thugs, hooligans and bullies, who use violence in a country? 1 minute, ma'am, I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you. I was completely civil. Allow me to finish. This is a country which reveres Mahatma Gandhi because he was non-violent. This is a country which respects the rule of law. Karan said, we are the world's largest democracy. We are also a democracy which is run by the rule of law. So, ma'am, you have every right to be upset. Renuka has every right to be upset. I'm deeply angry. But does that mean that the next Pakistani person I see on the streets of Delhi or Calcutta, I just go and kill him or slap him? So here's my point. There are two major issues here. One is a serious government issue which I mentioned on some channels yesterday. The government, as Renuka rightly said, must revise its policies. You can't have them have a trade-related most favored nation status and then this form of hatred that is represented through violence. Second, the film is a completely different issue. And there you're right. Let the Motion Picture Association of India take a call that, look, hereafter, Pakistani talent will not be welcome. But, you can't take the law in your own hands, threaten people, force people to stay indoors, and unleash a spate of violence. That's my limited point, ma'am.
Let me bring in Nitin Dattar. Mr. Dattar, I want to pick up on something that Sohail said because it's critically important. By boycotting and banning Ae Dil Hai Mushkil, because it has Pakistani actors or Pakistani technicians, aren't you ending up, and this is the paradox of it, aren't you ending up behaving the way Pakistan would behave? Pakistan defines itself as being the opposite of India. They've made it their identity.
That's a banana
India
republic.
does not define itself as the opposite of Pakistan. But your behavior suggests you've fallen headlong into that trap. Do you realize your action diminishes our democracy? It demeans the good name of India. That's the paradox of what you're doing.
I think it's been very
Mr.
long
Jantar?
that we have all
Mr.
been
Jantar,
trying
go
to
ahead.
improve
Mr.
our cultural
Jantar.
ties.
It's Mr. Jantar, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to clear the my side that we have not banned the film. We had requested that you postpone the film to certain stage where the things get normalized. Diwali is not the right period to screen this film, when not only is Navnirman Sena, but there are other peoples also whose sentiment and hatred is high. It may so happen that during Diwali, which is a festival period.
You're saying a very important thing. You're saying you have not refused to show the film altogether in your cinema halls. What you did instead was you wanted it postponed. Did you make that crystal clear? Because the impression that's gone across in every channel and paper is that you refused to show the film full stop. Now you're saying you wanted it postponed beyond Diwali because you think Diwali is the wrong time to show this film. Can you clearly state what your position is?
Not only Diwali, I said that I said that till the right situation comes, where there is a cordial relation between the two countries and the sentiments of the people comes down a bit.
Who is to
at
decide
that time
what the right
picture should
situation
be
is? After all, the
released.
government has not said films with Pakistani actors and technicians shouldn't be shown. The government has said nothing.
Every time you cannot. I am telling you, every time you cannot draw the government into everything. I'll give you an example. Now you must have seen on WhatsApp and tweets and all that people are spreading the news that don't buy any item of China made or any item. The same person or merchant or businessman would say the same thing. I have purchased this material during the say some months ago, and as I being a Indian citizen, an Indian businessman, my goods should be purchased by the retailers and by the public.
Yes,
you cannot force the public to purchase this products.
The problem is the public should have a choice. If you don't show the film, you're denying them the choice and you're making up their mind for them. That's the problem with your position. You're not giving the public a choice, you're denying them a choice.
No,
let me bring in Renuka Shahane. I want to quote to you, Ms. Shahane, what the Home Minister said. Let's lower the voice on Mr. Jantar, please. I want to bring in Mr. Shahane. I want to quote to you what the Home Minister said day before yesterday in Chandigarh. And these are, can you hear me, Renuka? Can you hear me? I want to quote to you what the Home Minister said day before yesterday in Chandigarh. He said, and I'm quoting him, India has no problem with the people of Pakistan. He then added, and I'm quoting him, we don't hate people of Pakistan. We don't want to keep a distance from them. That's the Home Minister day before yesterday speaking in public in Chandigarh. If that is the government's position, and I take it Mr. Rajnath Singh is not misleading us, then surely it is the duty of the government to have said, go ahead and show films with Pakistani technicians if you want to. We are not asking for a ban. We don't require a ban. Surely then it's the duty of the central government to say we do not approve of the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena threatening cinema halls that show it. Yet the government is silent. Surely this is a moment where the government is abrogating its responsibilities.
Exactly. Yes, it is, because that gives rise to political opportunism. If they take a stand, then anything that anybody else does in opposition would be completely illegal, and it would put all matters to rest. The other point that I want to make, Karan, is that if the exhibitors feel that it's a national sentiment, leave it to the people to decide. Some people will go, some people won't. So let's see whether nationalism is going and seeing a film at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In a democracy, leave it to the people to decide. In a democracy, the people are God. Don't interfere by denying them the right to see it, by not showing it. Don't interfere by threatening them if they do see it. That 12 Maharashtra Navnirman Sena workers have been arrested by the Maharashtra police for threatening cinema owners. Nitin Datar, yesterday, Karan Johar was forced to issue a video statement pleading for his film to be shown. Aren't you ashamed, and I use that word deliberately, aren't you ashamed of what you forced an Indian citizen to do? Karan Johar was simply asserting his rights under the Constitution, and yet you made him go down on bended knees and beg as if he was asking for a favor. Aren't you ashamed of doing that to a fellow Indian?
First of all, you should say sorry to me for using such words.
What words?
If you don't say sorry, I am not
what
going to
words am I to apologize for? I'm asking you if you are ashamed of what you've done to a fellow Indian. Why should I apologize for asking you that question?
No, you cannot use such words on the TV channel.
Which word are you objecting to, Mr. Datar? Specify.
If I will not participate like this.
You're welcome not to participate. That is your choice. I'm not forcing you. But what word are you objecting to?
You are not insulting Nitin Datar.
I'm not insulting you. I'm asking you a question fairly whether you are ashamed of what you've done to a fellow citizen.
But
why is it wrong to ask you that question?
You should not use such words.
But which word?
Yeah.
Which word?
What you have said, uttered, is not, no.
Which word?
You should not utter such words.
But which word?
What you said just now, you know
I
what
asked
you
you
said.
whether you are ashamed of forcing an Indian citizen who's asserting his constitutional rights to go down on bended knees and beg as if he's asking a favor.
No,
that's not how you treat fellow citizens.
This is not the way to speak to a this is not the way to speak to a speaker.
But frankly speaking, I think it's a perfectly acceptable question. You may find it embarrassing, which is why you object to it, but you can't point to any one word that you don't like.
That is your view. That is your view. I don't
all right. Let me bring in Sohail Seth. Sohail Seth, let me repeat that question to you and you tell me whether I was right or wrong. I asked a simple question. Was Mr. Datar ashamed of forcing a fellow citizen to assert his constitutional rights by going down virtually on bended knees and to beg as if it's a favor? Should he be ashamed of treating a citizen like that?
You know, on a serious note, most of us, me included, should be ashamed. We should be ashamed if we have come to a point where we must force people who are genuine Indians, genuinely Indian, everything Indian about them, to force them to redefine, re-establish, represent their credentials of Indianness. You know, yesterday, that video, Karan, will go down in history as a very defining moment in the idea of India. And it's not about, you know, the BJP or the MNS or the Congress, or it's not about politics. It's about what we are doing to civil society. And I say this with humility, Ms. Thackeray. It's not about the MNS or the Shiv Sena or the BJP. Political parties must engage with Indians and therefore with the idea of India. If you beat people up, you can disagree, but you can't be disagreeable. So what we have created today is the George W. Bush syndrome.
Bashing is not going
Either
to
you're
get you
with
anywhere.
me or you're against me. No, I don't need to get anywhere if you allow me to finish. So let me finish the thought. The point I'm making is we are driving people to positions.
You don't make the point. You are just into MNS bashes. Nothing else you are doing.
Let me then ask you a question, Ms. Thackeray, and let's see if you prefer that.
Ma'am, I have nothing to do with MNS. MNS is being bashed at the elections, at the hustings.
No,
I don't need to bash MNS, so please don't draw me into an MNS debate. I'm not interested in MNS.
Yeah, but that is what you're doing. You are again and again
so let me
repeating
finish.
yourself. I'm sorry, but that is what you're doing.
This is a television studio. It's not your stamping ground for a street brawl. Ma'am, you want to do a street brawl, you have all the day to do it. This is a civilized television studio. Let me finish and I will end. So to finally again reiterate and not just repeat Karan.
I was talking to him very decently. It's you who have to watch your words.
Yes, so am I. So am I. I said I'm not into a street brawl.
All right, let's leave that aside. Mr. Thackeray, let me ask you a question.
Has to prove his Indianness.
Lower the voice on everyone else, please, producer. Let me ask you a question. Mr. Thackeray, let me put a paradox to you. And you're a very intelligent person. I know you'll understand that paradox. You say that you are acting in India's best interest. In fact, you are upholding India's interests by saying this film must not be shown. The paradox is that in the eyes of the world, you are demeaning and diminishing our democracy, you are undermining our claim to be the world's greatest democracy, and therefore you are embarrassing India. Does that not sound to you as if you're doing the wrong thing?
That is your viewpoint, Karan Thapar. That is your viewpoint. That is not the viewpoint of the people who have been associated, who are talking to us, and I'm talking about fellow Indians. Please go and ask this. You are the one who said no Jawan or no army person has talked about what is happening. I'm sorry to say you're not aware of that also. There is a very big sentiment in the army which says, okay, ठीक है, हम वहाँ पे लड़ते रहे, we are fighting over there, and you all would like to entertain all these people.
आपके कानों तक डायरेक्टली कैसे पहुँच गई जब मुल्क को पता नहीं है इसके बारे में? आपको कैसे पता लग गया?
The thing is that this is the sentiment of the people who are fighting for us, while we are entertaining all the people from that country into. These are the celebrities who do not want to acknowledge the Jawans, do not want to even pay a Shraddhanjali to the Jawans.
Everyone acknowledges the Jawans.
Watch their movies.
I come from an army family. My affinity to them is probably 1,000 times greater than yours.
It's a very sad fact that the Pakistani artists did not acknowledge the Jawans.
They don't wish that you need to defend them by hurting a film or Karan Johar or the film industry.
Artists that we are talking about here.
Let me bring in Renuka Shahane. Renuka Shahane, you're an actress, you understand the film industry. People like Mr. Dattar believe they're acting in the best interests of the film industry, but the truth is that if they end up crippling Karan Johar, if they end up damaging the film industry, do you believe Indian movie fans will applaud them for what they're doing, or will they end up cursing them? Oh, we seem to have lost the line. Let me put that to you, Mr. Dattar, because that question was about you. If you end up crippling the film industry, if you end up breaking Karan Johar, a man who's made great films, do you think movie lovers in India will applaud you, or will they curse you?
That is up to the public to decide, not you.
I'm not deciding, I'm asking you. Do you have any opinion on this? Do you have any idea what they'll do?
Why should I say? Let the public decide. Let the public decide. You take a vote on your channel and see who is right or who is wrong. I fully don't agree with your views and the way you are conducting the interview today.
So you don't care whether your action in not showing this film ends up bankrupting Karan Johar? You don't care if you end up damaging the film industry? You don't care if therefore, whilst you claim you're upholding
India's
interests,
I don't think so. It is my view Bollywood. And my choice. It's my choice what picture to screen or not. If all the films which are censored by the public, censor board, it's not my duty to screen all the films.
Absolutely, you have a right, I concede, without any doubt,
even after,
not to show a film. But isn't it rather convenient that you exercise that right in this instance when you've never exercised it before?
Even after the films have been censored, the public has banned the films like My Name is Khan or Udta Punjab. Both the pictures were screened, censored by the censor board.
Okay.
But still the people took the objection.
Let me leave the last word with Shalini Thakare. Shalini Thakare, you said you were acting because the Maharashtra government has failed to respond. But do you realize the central government hasn't asked any theatre owner not to show the film? The central government has made it clear they don't want to distance themselves from ordinary Pakistanis. You're going against the central government. Doesn't that sound odd to you? A quick answer.
I think this is what I am objecting to, that here we have a Prime Minister who is literally on cold war with the neighboring country, and we are just trying to make ourselves believe that everything is fine under the guise of cultural ties. I think we need to just take this thing, artists and everything comes later, country comes first. I think Karan Johar has realized that, and finally he has been ashamed and had to take out this video.
All right. You have the right to the last word because you've been in the dock right through this show. But I want to point out for the sake of the audience that that sentiment The country comes first. One also echoed by Karan Johar is certainly laudable, but it's not always true. Because let me tell you, there are moments such as when the Germans were killing Jews in the 30s and 40s. There were moments when Sikhs were being butchered in India in 74. When Indira Gandhi imposed the emergency in 79. When Pakistani soldiers raped Bangladeshis in 71. No one would have said the country comes first. At those moments, your commitment to truth and principle must take precedence over your loyalty to your country. So remember, be careful when you use that phrase, country comes first. There are moments when clearly it doesn't, and that's also true in our history. My apologies for that little lesson, but I think it was an important statement to make. My thanks to all my guests for joining me. Goodbye, good night.